For the Tamadun Islam and Tamadun Asia class, groups were given the assignment of researching and reporting on a specific subject of a chosen civilization. Group 37 chose traditional crafts of the Malay people. To understand more on the subject, we decided to visit the National Textile Museum located in Kuala Lumpur. The National Textile Museum is a historical landmark built over 100 years ago, but officially opened as a public museum in 2010. The museum features 4 themed galleries with dozens of display pieces explaining its uniqueness, history, and cultural significance. Aside from textiles, the museum also features jewelry and other adornments, making it the perfect location to conduct our research.
Hey guys, I'm Amsyar from Bachelor's in International Hospitality, and today I'll be talking about the textile making technology. So in today's modern world, technology has revolutionized the textile making industry. Although some traditional machinery as the cake or the weaving loom is still used to produce woven fabrics, with this modern machinery, all aspects of the production process has been made easier and faster. The creation of more dynamic and colorful designs and a greater range of colors can be directly attributed to this. Over here you can see there are a few processes to make the songket using the cake machine. So firstly you can see that the raw yarns are soaked in wooden cylinder and then dipped in a coloring solution to give it its color and texture. And next it is again soaked in water to give it a fragrant smell with lemongrass as well as to make it shiny. Then the weaving process begins after the entire loop of thread is coiled around the cake machine. Okay, the initial process of weaving is woven about 6 inches to obtain a standard pattern, very meticulously done. Moving on is the more intricate pattern design, which is called the menculik guna, which is to pick up the warp thread according to the design, and the process is guided by the patterns drawn on the paper. Once the flowers have been placed, the weaving is continued until the piece of fabric is completed.
Shae Lyn from BH12. These are some examples of the Malay woven textiles. And this is the pants, the trousers which are made from songket with scattered flowers. And baju kurungs, which are made from silk with vertical or horizontal design. And baju kurung songket, which are flared with long sleeve, made from songket with flower motif. And baju kebaya, which is traditional clothes for girls from Kelantan, and the men's one as well is baju Melayu cekak musangs, also from Kelantan. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm from BH10 Group 9. I'm going to talk about personal adornments. Basically, in personal adornments, leaves, bird feathers, animal teeth, shells, brass shells, coins and glass beads have long been used by the indigenous tribes of Malaysia as adornments. Many of these items were obtained through trades and were deemed items of great value and prestige. Okay, and these are some of the examples of cucut sanggul, also known as the hairpins, which are usually worn by brides at wedding ceremonies during the early 90s. Right, these are some of the examples of personal adornments. These are pending, which is the buckle, and that is the tali pinggang, which is the belt for the buckle. Right, here are some of the examples of keris on display. It is a weapon used as an accessory. It also serves as a ceremonial function during occasions such as weddings. And that's about it. Thank you.
My name is Alyssa. I'm from BH12. There's this baju berayat which actually incorporate with the Islam, and you can see embroidered with a green silk threads, kain batik. There are different types of kain batik here, and of course Malaysia is a big country, so the kain batik actually came from different states, which is Terengganu, Kelantan. It's the Lima Songket Tenggarong. And this is the kain Lima Songket. So it's different from the other because it's actually a long silk and gold Lima Songket. This is the headdress of Lima Songket. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kelvin and I'm from BC9. And so I'm gonna talk a bit about the technique that they use to produce batik. So one of the first technique is the printing technique. Special dyes and wax are used, and then they are soaked. The cloth is then soaked with water and until there is no more trace of sodium silicate. It's then boiled and rinsed until clean. The cloth is then dried and then cut into several sizes and designs. So here, these are some of the tools and ingredients that they use in producing this batik. We have the chanting technique. Chanting technique is used when they need to produce a very fine design, as you can see from this. So, and lastly, tie and dye technique, which is the earliest technique that was introduced, which is similar to the bandani technique popularized in India.
Hi, I'm Zamir from DC9 and here we are in the batik exhibit. So batik was introduced in the Srivijaya Kingdom during the reign of Sultan Zainal Abidin II, the third Sultan of Terengganu. So at that time, the first batik that was introduced was kain pelangi, a tie and dye style method, which mirrored the bandani technique of India. At that time, it was without the application of wax and it was drawn into Chinese silk. So it was a mixture of Indian techniques and Chinese products. So it was later on that the introduction of pattern batik kedah and batik kotak was introduced. So batik kedah and batik kotak used wooden boxes which had prints on them, designs, and they were stamped onto the kain or the cloth. So later on it was more modernized. They used metal blocks of copper and brass which produced finer patterns. The process of batik making was using wax was popularized in Terengganu and Kelantan. In Kelantan, it was introduced by Haji Cik Su. So the hallmark of batik was using the chanting technique or using the chanting tool, which is a fine spoon-like product pan with a small spout to produce fine drawings by hand using wax. So the types of batik which are popular now are the batik cap, batik conteng, and as well as silk screen and hand-drawn batik. So those are all still traditional, but they are still used now. And modern technology has allowed us to produce mass amounts of batik. And yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Azmiera from B12 and today I'm going to be talking about the Malay textile. So, Malacca, strategically located in the Straits of Malacca, was a well-known port of call in the 15th century and developed into a prominent emporium for merchandises from the east and west. Among the merchandise traded were spices, ivory, silk yarns, gold and silver. Malay textiles refer to woven cloth produced by the Malays, including the indigenous peoples of the Malay. Cloth woven by Malay artisans, especially the limar songket, limar bersongket, limar tenggarong, limar berayat, kain tenun, kain corak muar dan kain mastuli, were prized textiles produced in Kelantan, Terengganu and Pahang. The songket, also known as kain berlata and kain berturus, was also woven in Sarawak by the Malays, and it was regarded as a legacy from the Brunei Sultanate. Malay textile was also well known for its embellishments such as gold or silver thread, embroidery, calendering, and gilding with gold leaf on the surface of the cloth. In the past, Malay hand-woven textiles were worn on auspicious occasions and festivals by royalty and aristocrats. Today, these fabrics are accepted by all strata of society and they are used in many modern fashions for weddings, festivals, and as attire for formal occasions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ridza from BH12. I'll be continuing on. I'll be presenting mostly on Malay weddings. These are some of the examples of the fabrics used in Malay weddings. We have the tikat suji and the ceremonial cushion cover as well. Both of them are made with gold and silver threading. The design for the cushion is mostly from the bunga cempaka. And as we go along, you'll notice that most of them as well will be using a lot of gold for the traditional weddings. The wall decor as well is embroidered with gold and with beads. This is the chio, the one where the groom will be sitting on during the ceremony. And other than that, we also have the traditional slippers and the fans, which will be held by the bridesmaids and the groomsmaids for the wedding ceremonies. And you can see they're also lavished, but this time their designs are mostly on the chrysanthemum flowers. Thank you.
And so, our trip to the Textile Museum turned to be as enlightening as it was interesting. We hope you enjoyed the video as much as we enjoyed making it. Thank you very much for watching.